Considering visiting a speech pathologist is something that parents generally do if their child is having difficulty, with speech. I'm having difficulty with my speech today. But there are a multitude of different reasons why you might want your child to see a speech pathologist. And not all of them directly relate to the sounds that come out of their mouth. So can you tell me, Mel, what is a speech pathologist and what do they do?
So speech pathologists work both with adults and children. So adults mostly working with adult strokes or degenerative diseases and that kind of thing. But working with kids, we work on their general communication development, so speech as well as language, so the content of the vocab that they're using and that kind of thing. And as well as literacy. And one thing that people generally don't know is speeches also work with swallowing and how kids are eating and that kind of thing as well. So it's quite varied.
It's very varied. So what do you do when you have a child in here? So that's the sort of things that you work with. How do you help them?
Yeah, so I guess every child's different. So it's about looking at the normal stages of development for speech, for language, for how well they're understanding instructions, for literacy, if that's what we're working on. And looking at where that child is compared to where most kids that age are. And there's obviously a range of normal, but we're mostly concerned on those kids that are sort of significantly below that range of normal. And so it's really looking at what skills they have, what skills they're missing for that age, and really working specifically on those skills, and how you can improve it. And look, it looks different for every child because each child has different needs and it fits in with the family and all of that kind of stuff as well.
That's wonderful. So why would a child see a speech pathologist? Obviously they're getting behind in school or they're missing milestones.
Yeah, so look, we work with kids from all ages, so 18 months. I think one of our girls has got a little 10-month-old at the moment, which is kind of cute. So it obviously depends on that age range in terms of what we'd be working on. So a 2-year-old, we might be looking at increasing the range of words they're using because they're not using very many or none at all. Or we might be looking at the fact that they're not combining words together, so we can work on building that word combination. Or their speech might be completely hard to understand. So they've got heaps of words, but no one can understand what they're trying to say. Except for mum. Mums are amazing. Yes. And as they're getting older, it might be looking more at their ability to tell stories or be able to sequence their ideas, being able to put longer sentences together, more complex sentences together, or for literacy, looking at being able to use sounds to work out what words say, so being able to sound out act to make cat and those kind of skills as well.
It's full on, isn't it, really? So what is the difference then between an occupational therapist and a speech pathologist?
Yeah, so look, some people do get confused with which the right specialist is to go to see. So generally, I guess if it's communication based, then speech pathology is the way to go to start with. So communication, looking at, yes, the sounds and the words that are coming out of their mouth, but also the way they're interacting socially with other people, and then that written communication in terms of reading and writing. So I guess anything communication based is probably best to go to a speech pathologist first. An OT tends to look at, it's kind of a broad brief, but activities of daily living. So there can kind of be a bit of a grey zone there in terms of the things that kids do as part of their work in terms of play and that kind of thing. Is things like writing, drawing. OTs, I guess, tend to work a little bit more on that fine motor skill, the act of actually creating the letters with their hands, whereas speechies might look at the content behind it. Can they break up the sounds and work out what the sounds are to write it down? Or can they construct the sentence to write down? So the actual sort of mechanical part might be more of an OT, but the content is probably more speech. OTs do a lot of other things as well. They work on sensory issues and that kind of thing. And there's lots of kids that we see that do both speech and OT, because your kids have that developmental delay across a range of areas. So, often we work together. We're working on breaking up the sounds in words for spelling, and then the OT's working on that being able to put the sort of pen and paper together, pencil grip and all of that kind of stuff. So
there you have it. I never knew that. So there are many stages of speech development and plenty to learn for your child. So if you notice your child is struggling a little bit with their language or any of the issues that we've discussed today, give Coastal Kids Speech Pathology a call today.